I want to get started in just instructing on how to write a personal narrative. We have this assignment, but we may not know how to write a personal narrative essay. So let me get started and explain. Narration simply is writing that tells a story, and you want to be able to tell a story within your narrative essay. A lot of times narration is going to be found in fiction, it's going to be found in nonfiction, it's going to be found in biographies, it's also going to be found in autobiographies. So in your personal narrative, there will be narration, but it is specific. Your personal narrative is about you. It's autobiographical and it is about you. So it needs to talk about something that is meaningful, something that you've experienced in your life. So as you're thinking about topics and areas of your life to write about in your personal narrative, make sure that you're thinking about experiences that would be entertaining and inspiring maybe to people who read it. What does it take to write an A paper? Well, everyone wants to write an A paper, and not everyone can, but let me explain how you can write an A paper. An introduction in your paper has to get the reader's attention. It needs to hook them in somehow. Along with the introduction, you need to have a point of view that's consistent. You have to pick a point of view and continue to write in that for the entire essay. And since it's a personal narrative, what you should be doing is writing in the first person. And as you write in the first person, you're going to be using words and pronouns like I, we, me, and us. And make sure when you do that, you choose the first person and you stick with that through the entire essay. Your essay should also have a logical order. It needs to make sense. So arrange those events in your essay so that it makes sense. A lot of times, the common order that people use is chronological order. So it is the order that everything takes place within the story. Time order. Good details and word choices are important in an essay. You need to make sure you're choosing words that make sense and are specific with your essay. So choose important details and your words carefully, because your words are going to cause the reader to want to continue to read or want to put your paper down. Include your thoughts and feelings in your essay. Your emotions and thoughts are really what make your personal narrative essay personal and interesting. We want to know those as a reader. We want to know what is interesting through your thoughts and your emotions. And then share the meaning. Get to the point. You need to make sure that you are writing and giving specific details, but not beating around the bush. You want to make sure you get exactly to the point of your story. Explain why it made a difference in your life. Don't let the reader try to figure it out. Explain why through the events and details and emotions and thoughts that you put into your narrative essay. And then, why was it meaningful? Explain to the reader why it was meaningful. Spell out your personal narrative in such a way that the reader is inspired and entertained by your words. So, where do you start? First of all, brainstorm. You need to brainstorm your essay. Think about a turning point in your life, something wonderful or tragic that happened to you. Think about something meaningful and exciting, and that is where you start. So brainstorm about those things. Did you learn a lesson the hard way? Did you change for the better? And then, did the experience make you stronger? These are all questions as you brainstorm that can help you come up with a personal narrative essay. Another place you can start is by reflecting. So what did you learn? Why was the experience meaningful? Why was this important? And if you can answer these questions completely, then you're probably going to have enough material in order to write a personal narrative essay. Ask yourself these questions. Can I share this with others? Because if you're not able to share this with others, then maybe it's not a topic that you can write about for your personal narrative essay, because people will be reading it. Will other people be able to relate to my experience and what I learned? The reader wants to be intrigued by the topic. They want to continue to read. So are they able to do that with your topic? Can they relate to it? Another place you can start is what the point is. What is the point of your personal narrative essay? Besides the fact of just telling a story about you, what is the point? So start with the end first. What do you want your audience to learn from this? What kind of point do you want to derive from this? Examples. We can conquer our fears and then fill in the blank. Some things are learned the hard way. So these two examples, these two prompts, sentence stems, can be used to answer what the point is of your essay. And the last one is, I'm a better person because of what happened. And this is another thing of starting with the end first. What is the point you're trying to get across? What is the lesson you want your reader to learn through your personal narrative essay? Background information is very important. You want to help the reader know a better way to understand the story. And if they have background information, maybe they are more apt to understand your personal narrative essay. Where did this happen? How old were you? What brought this on? All questions that can give background information to help the reader understand the essay better. And then who else was involved? Make a list of this necessary information and give details throughout your essay. Another place you can begin is a graphic organizer. And on the website, there'll be a graphic organizer that you can use to help organize your narrative thoughts. List the details of your experience in a web outline or graphic organizer. Add as many details as necessary. And then arrange them in a logical order. And as you do this to start out and through the drafting process, you're able to put together a greater and more effective quality of paper. Begin your rough draft. We finally brainstormed, we finally gotten ideas, and now we're finally at the rough draft phase. So create that introduction that is eye-catching and it hooks the reader. And then tell the events of the story in an organized way. Add those important details to fill in the blanks so that the reader has the right amount of information to be intrigued by the story. And the conclusion should explain why this experience was significant. So in your conclusion, you're bringing it down to that conclusion, and you are giving the point or the lesson learned throughout the essay. Now read it aloud. After you've written that rough draft, it's important to read it out loud so that you can proofread it better. Rereading your rough draft helps you find those mistakes. And if you have difficulty reading it aloud, maybe it is better to find someone else to read it back to you, because as they read it, not only will they find some mistakes that you have, but maybe you will hear them as well. And then clean it up. Now that you've drafted it and you've proofread it, now just start cleaning it up. Find those mistakes and start fixing those spelling and grammar mistakes. Start getting rid of those dead words and choosing good verbs and adjectives to add details and interest. We want to make sure that the words we choose are so specific and so appropriate that it causes the reader to be engaged in our essay. And then find and correct all the little mistakes. Finally, publish the essay. And to publish the essay, all you're doing is producing the final copy. And this copy can either be handwritten in blue or black ink or typed. It should not be in pencil. It should be double spaced. Like I said before, it should be typed or written neatly in blue or black ink. And if it is typed, please use 12-point Times New Roman font. And then a cover sheet is going to be needed as well, with your name, with the date, with the title of your personal narrative essay, and with the name of the class. So it would be the period of the class and the teacher, which would be Mr. Ferrero. Make sure you're turning it in on time. Get full credit for your work by turning it in when it's due. You don't want to lose points just because it's late. No excuses. If you can't be here, then turn it in early, email it, or have someone bring it to school for you. There's no excuses. You know when the due date is, so make sure you turn it in on time for full credit. Your grade decreases for each day your essay is late, so make sure it's on time. Finally, you did it. Once you have brainstormed it, drafted it, proofread it, and published it, and turned it in, you have completed it. And if you followed all the directions, you're sure to get a good grade on your first narrative essay in this class. In order to access that graphic organizer and more helpful information for this essay, you can go to mrferrero.com and you can find all the information that you need to find.